Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily, the first English news program in Poland. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. On the last day of the ruling Law and Justice Party convention taking place in Katowice, the Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki concluded the event by presenting his vision in transforming the ideas presented by the party into concrete actions for years to come. The Prime Minister expects the program proposed during the three-day meeting to come into effect in the foreseeable future.
Thanking Poland was the slogan of the convention of the currently ruling Law and Justice Party, which took place in Katowice. The Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki underlined that the brainstorming that took place at the Law and Justice Party and the United Right Convention this weekend was the next stage in elaborating the electoral program. The subjects of the conference were healthcare, new laws, climate change, energy security and much more. Politicians of the United Right say it was a very busy time and a very fruitful one for the future of Poland. The fact that there were so many matters taken on during these 3 days proves that the Law and Justice wants to discuss concrete solutions for modern problems. We talk about the future, about our vision for it and what we can do for Poles. It's amazing. You can see here that there are so many people, it's like an ant's nest. We talk about what we managed to do, what we should continue to do, and what new ideas can we propose. The leader of the Law and Justice Party, Jarosław Kaczyński, emphasized that credibility will be the key for the party to win the upcoming elections this autumn.
Będziemy prowadzili politykę merytoryczną, przemyślaną.
We will govern on a platform based on policies which have been thought through and policies based on what I have discussed here earlier, meaning credibility. Because without credibility there is no democracy. If political parties which participate in elections trick voters by promising things that they can't keep, or as it often is, don't intend to keep, then the entire democratic process is manipulated. Such behavior is truly anti-democratic. Without credibility there can be no democracy, stated Kaczyński in his speech. He went on to say that this summer will be very busy for the politicians of the Law and Justice, who won't have any holidays, or for the good results in the parliamentary elections in autumn. Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki stated that the elections will probably take place in October.
75 years have passed since Operacja Ostra Brama, or Operation Gate of Dawn, which commenced on the night between July 6th and July 7th, 1944. 5,000 Polish soldiers of the Home Army, the main organization of the Polish military underground, launched an assault on the city of Vilnius, trying to take it from the German army before the Soviet army arrived at the city. After a couple of days of heavy fighting, the Poles and Soviets captured the city together. But later, the Soviets betrayed the Poles, disarmed them, and arrested the Polish commanders.
Ultimately, the Polish soldiers fought together with the Soviets to liberate Vilnius from the German occupation after a few days of battle. Shortly after this event, however, the NKVD arrested Polish soldiers. The soldiers of the Home Army were disarmed along with their command. Most of them went to prison or were sent deep into the Soviet Union. Yesterday in Lithuania, the 75th anniversary of the operation began. Today, a solemn Holy Mass took place in the Church of St. Teresa in Vilnius for the fallen and living soldiers.
The spokesperson for the Iranian government, Ali Rabieh, announced that the Middle Eastern country is beginning the process of enriching uranium over the limit set in the nuclear deal. If the signatories do not allow for export of Iranian oil, Tehran will continue restricting the commitments found in the deal every 2 months.
In a few hours, the technical work will be done and enrichment beyond 3.67% will begin. We predict that tomorrow morning, when the agency comes to measure, our enrichment will be higher than 3.67%. The reason we are starting our second step in reducing our commitments from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action today is that Europe and other members of the JCPOA could not meet our demands, especially in the field of oil and bringing back our income. They haven't been able to do anything worthy.
Iran has violated its solemn promise under the UN Security Council not to enrich uranium beyond a certain level. The enrichment of uranium is made for one reason and one reason only. It's for the creation of atomic bombs. The leaders of the P5+1 promised and committed themselves to snap back sanctions the minute Iran did that. It just did. Where are you?
Under the pact, Iran can enrich uranium to 3.67% fissile material, well below the 20% it was reaching before the deal, and roughly 90% suitable for a nuclear weapon. Iran shows no sign of caving into pressure from US President Donald Trump in a confrontation that has taken on a military dimension, with Washington blaming Tehran for attacks on oil tankers and Iran shooting down a US drone, prompting aborted US airstrikes. The United States last year pulled out of the accord, signed along with China, Russia and European Union countries such as Britain, France and Germany.
Another NGO vessel has illegally disembarked African migrants in the Italian island of Lampedusa. In the middle of the night, the vessel Alex, operated by the Italian NGO Mediterranea, entered the port against the direct orders of Italian Minister of Interior Matteo Salvini. The vessel has been confiscated in accordance with Salvini's recently passed security decree, and the captain will be prosecuted for aiding human traffickers.
I saw that the German government wrote me a letter today asking to reopen the ports and to let all the migrants disembark. No, 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 absolutely not. And I think I can say it on your behalf. There is a German ship that is breaking the Italian laws for the umpteenth time. Like it or not, there are some laws voted by the Italian parliament that represent 60 million Italians. Therefore, on what grounds private ships, managed by privates, decide how to organize human trafficking and decide how and when to break laws? Sea borders and land borders are the same. And so, dear German government, I am not reopening Italian ports, especially if you ask me to. There is a German ship and then you take care of it, or we put them all on a bus in front of the German embassy. That's enough, and this applies to the French, the Dutch and to anyone who thinks anything can be done in Italy. On Saturday, a migrant rescue boat breached a ban on docking in Italy for the second time in a week, arriving illegally in Lampedusa as Italy rejected a German call to open its ports to charity vessels. German Interior Minister Horst Seehofer on Saturday asked his Italian counterpart, Lega leader Matteo Salvini, to rethink his decision to close the country's ports for NGO vessels. The sailboat Alex, carrying 41 migrants, docked at the same quay, where a week ago another charity vessel rammed an Italian police boat when it decided to illegally disembark more than 60 migrants after 2 weeks in international waters.
That's it for today. See you next time on Poland Daily. But stay tuned for the Poland Daily Weather Report, followed by the Poland Daily Business section.